dangerous and soon.
Right now at 6, Joplin residents attending the Chiefs Parade recount the chaos during the mass shooting.
And we're going to be cold today, breezy. Some of us some rain, some of us some snow, some of us a mix of the two. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Ascension plans to transfer ownership of Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh to Mercy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is, for some of us, still relatively warm outside.
I was feeling a little colder.
Yeah, it was chilly this morning. I definitely had the heat on. It's going to get colder yet across the area. And again, some of us could see some rain. Some of us will see some snow. Some of us may see a mix of the two. But the good news is we're not going to be seeing an overabundance of snowfall around the area, unless you really like the snow. And then, of course, that's bad news. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Take a look at that cloud shield out there. We've got the cloudy skies. We're starting to see some breezy conditions as that cold front rolls through. And the winds are going to pick up even more as we head through the morning and into the afternoon. MoDOT camera, 28th and range line, looking pretty good. In fact, if you look close enough, you can see it's kind of waving a little bit as winds begin to increase. And this cloud line gives you a great example as to where that cold front stretches. And we're starting to see a few showers out ahead of that. And we could even see a couple of thunderstorms. No severe weather or anything like that, but a couple of rumbles of thunder will be possible with this activity as it continues to develop. And you can see on the loop over the last 3 hours where it continues to develop along that front. And you can also see the snow that's back behind that along the I-70 corridor just to the east of Hayes and north of Wichita out there. Temperatures around the region also painting a great picture of where that cold front is. Here's that wind shift line where the front stretches through. Off to the northwest into southeastern Kansas, parts of Oklahoma, we're upper 30s, low 40s. And then we have a pocket where it's still ahead of the front, still with that southeasterly breeze, so it's still warmer, mid-upper 40s and still sitting at 51 in Bentonville. But all of us getting in on this cold action early. I did it again. 41 when the kids get on the bus. Cloudy skies, that east breeze around 5 to 10. But as the morning progresses, the winds pick up. We're going to be mostly cloudy when that bus brings them home. 33 at North Breeze, 15 to 20 with gusts upwards of 30. So that rain-snow mix, some of us will stay just warm enough through the morning that as the precipitation rolls through, you're only going to get rain. But some of our northern counties could see a bit of a mix or maybe some light snow, but we're only looking at maybe a dusting at best for a few of us out there. And all that wraps up by about 1 o'clock or so. The winds hold on, temperatures again falling, so early highs in the mid to upper 40s, many of us already below that, and we'll hold on to cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. We do have some other changes in our forecast. We'll talk about that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Police say deadly gun violence during the Kansas City Chiefs victory rally appears to have been sparked by a dispute. Lisa Lopez Galvin, a 43-year-old mother of 2 and popular radio DJ, was killed in the shooting. More than 20 others were injured, most of them shot, including nearly a dozen children. As of yesterday evening, 2 juveniles remain in custody in the case. An adult has been released. Authorities want to speak with people who were in the area about what they saw and are urging them to share any cell phone video they may have. And some 4-staters witnessed the tragedy that happened on Wednesday after the Chiefs parade and rally in Kansas City. Webb City resident Tara Yarin says one of the suspects of being involved in the Chiefs Super Bowl parade shooting was tackled in front of her.
We started to walk and then we hear this boom, 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 boom. And my friend's daughter was walking next to me and she looked at me and she's like, was that gunshots? 30 seconds. It just wasn't very long afterwards. We hear this move, 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 move. And then he ran into me and I was like, ow. And then next thing I know, he was on the ground right in front of me by a police officer and by another just normal person tackled him.
We're still pumped up. We're thinking, man, this is great. I'm looking forward to the off season. I'm ready for the next season. And all of a sudden, the world just changed, and it's just like letting the air out of a balloon. How could this happen? Why did it happen?
Ledoux says he was about 50 yards away from where the shooting happened. He took shelter inside the Union Station and then was moved to a parking garage. Ascension plans to transfer ownership of the Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh to Mercy. A statement released by a Mercy person says that they have entered into an ownership agreement. KOAM's Anthony Saviello spoke with Pittsburgh city officials and residents to get their take on this agreement.
With terms in place, Via Christi will soon be under new management. But is this really the best move for the city of Pittsburgh? According to City Manager Darren Hall, this transition is a positive step forward.
I think it's an exciting time. I have a lot of faith in Mercy. I appreciate what Ascension Via Christi's done over the years, and it does look like a growth opportunity to some extent.
For residents who utilize Mercy services, this could now make it easier for them to receive the health care they need.
My doctor wasn't allowed to work at Via Christi before, and now she will be because she's a Mercy doctor.
Ascension has strong bonds with the Pittsburgh State Nursing Program. In a statement released by Director Cheryl Geifer, she said, in part, Mercy Hospital and Ascension Via Christi Hospital have each supported Pittsburgh State University and its nursing students for the past 53 years, and we anticipate continuing our strong, positive partnerships during this transition and into the future.
Pitt State's obviously been a great partner over the years, and they will continue to be, and those nurses are just critical because they're the pipeline of staff that take care of everybody, and a lot of them do stay here. So I think it'll continue, and hopefully for them it'll be just more opportunities as well.
Ascension also issued a statement saying, in part, as a regional provider, Mercy is well positioned to carry on this legacy, serving the community through an integrated care delivery system. Now, the exact future of this facility and the health care that it will be able to provide to the city of Pittsburgh is unknown. But City Manager Hall and Pittsburgh residents seem confident that this transition will be positive and that it will make health care in the area more accessible.
I have no idea about the growth. I think it's positive for the city, though.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
And you can read yesterday's statement from Mercy at KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a former FBI informant is charged with lying about President Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. Plus, Fulton County, Georgia District Attorney Fannie Willis returns to the witness stand this morning after her intense testimony yesterday. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Come see us, 32nd and Rangeline.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, if you filled up your gas tank this week, you probably noticed it cost you more. The price of a gallon of gas went up 12 cents over the past week to reach a national average of $3.27. That may have come as a bit of a shock since prices haven't moved more than a few cents over the past few months. The good news is that the reason should only be temporary. Highly influencing prices right now is the shutdown of a massive BP refinery in Indiana. It's been offline for more than 2 weeks due to a power outage. That should be fixed soon, and then gas prices will likely go back to moving at more predictable pace. And a Delta Airlines flight returned to Amsterdam Tuesday because of an improperly packed carry-on bag on the plane. But social media posts suggest it was something else. The Daily Mail reported that maggots were falling from the overhead bin after a passenger packed rotting fish in their luggage. Passengers are generally allowed to bring food on airplanes as long as it is properly packed and doesn't contain more than the regulatory limit for liquids. Flight tracker FlightAware shows the plane, which was bound for Detroit, only made it as far as England before turning back. One passenger told the Daily Mail that those on the plane were given air miles, hotel room vouchers, and meal tickets if they were delayed overnight. Thursday, CIA Director Bill Burns met with Israeli leaders. During his surprise trip to Israel, Burns sat down with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss ongoing hostage negotiations. Israeli and Hamas officials were in Egypt earlier this week, trying to work out a deal to release the hostages still held by Hamas and establish a ceasefire in Gaza. But talks broke down Tuesday, and Netanyahu says Hamas has to change its negotiation position. A former FBI informant is charged with lying about President Joe Biden and his son Hunter's involvement in business dealings with the Burisma Holdings Company. Alexander Smirnov, also charged with creating false records, was arrested Thursday in Las Vegas. The indictment comes from special counsel David Weiss. The charging document alleges the story told by the 43-year-old Smirnov to federal investigators was, quote, a fabrication, an amalgam of otherwise unremarkable business meetings. It's also alleged the meetings had a purpose to pitch the Ukrainian energy company, quote, on the defendant's services and products, not for discussing bribes to Joe Biden when he was in office. Investigators also claim that Smirnov had his dates wrong about when meetings occurred. Some congressional Republicans made Smirnov's now discredited allegations a centerpiece of their impeachment push against the president. Fulton County, Georgia, District Attorney Fani Willis returns to the witness stand this morning after her intense testimony yesterday. Lawyers for former President Trump and a co-defendant are seeking to disqualify her from the state's election interference case due to a romantic relationship with a member of her team, which they say is a conflict of interest. Meanwhile, the former president was in a Manhattan courtroom yesterday where the judge denied his motion to dismiss charges. CBS News correspondent Naomi Ruckham has more on all those developments from New York.
It is a lie. Heated testimony as Fulton County DA Fani Willis was grilled over her personal relationship with a lead prosecutor in the state's election interference case against former President Donald Trump.
These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial.
Co-defendant Michael Roman claims Willis's previous relationship with prosecutor Nathan Wade is a financial conflict of interest and argues she should be removed from the case. Willis and Wade admitted to beginning a relationship after he was hired in November 2021. The pair took lavish trips while Willis's office paid Wade $650,000 for his work on the case. Willis said she reimbursed Wade for costs of the trips.
I don't need anything from a man. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Willis's former friend testified that the relationship began earlier than November 2021.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her.
No doubt.
Trump's Georgia case could be further delayed if the judge decides to disqualify and remove Willis. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
The Georgia case is one of several legal challenges for former President Trump. Yesterday, a Manhattan judge ruled that the trial accusing Trump of falsifying business records related to alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels will begin March 25th. And later today, another judge is set to issue a decision in Trump's New York civil fraud case. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a much colder day out there. Most of us have actually already hit our highs in the upper 40s, and temperatures are going to continue to fall as we go through the day. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we have a few showers here and there, those clouds outlining where that cold front is. So, of course, back behind that, it is already much colder. Part of this big system that's going to bring us the rain chances, and some of us may see some light snow or a mix of rain and snow. As we go through today, though, it's going to be cloudy. We'll have that wintry mix possibility here and there. It's also going to be breezy as temperatures fall back through the 30s, north winds gusting to 30 miles an hour. We'll have another complete look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Celebrating its 84th season.
A Michigan man went on a ski trip hoping to see a moose, but he got more than he bargained for when one moose started chasing him down the slope. Jeannie Moose tracks that moose on the loose.
They haven't yet been caught riding the chairlift, but moose seem to be hanging out these days at ski resorts out west. So maybe it was the next best thing to skiing.
Moose, heads up.
When a moose at Jackson Hole Resort in Wyoming chased a skier down the slope.
Were you scared or not really?
It's shock.
Ken Reinierson and his buddies turned a bend, and there it was.
Billy actually almost landed on the thing, and then we both were like, oh my God, a moose.
Ken thought it was a great photo op until the moose headed for it.
Oh!
Ken picked up his speed to leave the moose in his tracks.
Go faster!
He yelled to warn a friend in the green pants. Meanwhile, Ken's buddy Alex was shooting his own video.
Man, I got red on.
Like a matador tempting a bull, we've seen moose get aggressive, ramming a truck, then chasing it.
Get out of here.
Hitting a moose can be dangerous for both parties.
Did you actually have a hoof print on your face?
Right up there.
But right before Ken got to the base of the mountain, the moose veered off into the woods. When Dr. Ken left his East Bay chiropractic office in Traverse City, Michigan to go skiing, he had high hopes.
So one of my goals was to see a moose and get hopefully a video or at least a photo. And I got We got it all.
But was this a wild moose chase, or did the moose just want to join in? Maybe it's not just girls. As one commenter wrote, moose just want to have fun. Ginny Mo, CNN, New York.
Well, thank goodness he was a good skier and could outrun that moose. Well, now let's take it over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, talked about getting more than you bargained for sure. And you're going to get a little more than you're bargaining for with winter making a return to the area. We'll have a look at that forecast when we come back.
To learn about impactful partnerships.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:22 on this finally Friday here in the 4 states, taking a live look at our camera on the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We've got the clouds, we've got the north wind gradually starting to increase, and it's really going to pick up as we head through the morning out there, and temperatures continue to fall as precipitation continues to roll in. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good so far as well. There goes a school bus on this finally Friday. Folks getting their day underway. Skywatch Storm Tracker lighting up with a lot more rain showers across the area. We started this morning with just a few showers around Nevada, Stockton, and Osceola, and now we're seeing even more showers stretching back toward Pittsburgh, Galena, and down toward other parts of southeastern Kansas, because I feel bad. I just drew a blank. I apologize. It happens. So we get this shower south of Osceola, a few isolated showers in other parts of southwestern Missouri. We've got one right south of Carthage. My gosh, rain knocking on the door in Joplin, just to the east of Miami, Columbus, Oswego, Parsons, and just around Pittsburgh and southwest of Girard. A few more showers popping up out there, and that's right along this cold front. And the clouds really give you where that boundary is as we see these showers continue to develop, and with the colder temperatures back behind, seeing snow rolling in back there as well. So what are we expecting here for us today? As we go through the morning, some of us, as the temperatures fall, we may see that transition to a rain-snow mix, and then maybe even just some light snow, especially our northern counties, say Fort Scott, Chanute, Nevada, Stockton, maybe even as far south as Pittsburgh and Lamar, getting on just some light snow, whereas other points south, it'll be rain or a rain-snow mix. Because see, take a look at Bentonville by noon. Still warm out there until the colder air begins to settle in. So some of us will only see rain out of this today. By 3 o'clock, the bulk of this is gone. It is chilly out there, with the exception of a few stray showers, say around Cassville and Bentonville, and it's going to be cloudy and it's going to be breezy. In terms of snowfall potential, as you can see, as we've been showing you all morning, of course, this updates regularly with new information, and so far, no changes. Stockton, the only one showing up with 1/10 of an inch of snow possible. The rest of us, maybe a dusting for a few folks out there. We're not expecting much from this snow other than maybe some slick spots. The other half of this story is those north winds gusting at around 30 to 35 miles an hour, putting our wind chills into the 20s and teens as we head through the afternoon and temperatures drop. And it will stay breezy through the overnight and into the first half of our Saturday before we see those winds begin to calm down. In Joplin right now, 44, feels like 40 as that north wind again gradually picking up, and it is cloudy out there. Another great view of that cold front and that boundaries where these wind arrows shift. It is colder out to the west, upper 30s, low 40s, and again still into the upper 40s and even some low 50s as you head into Arkansas. Rain, breezy conditions, and that wintry mix for some of us. Temperatures falling, so we're hitting early highs today in the upper 40s, and as you saw on the temperature map, some of us still there, most of us now below that. Mid 30s by the afternoon. We'll go mostly cloudy and breezy. Cold, but seasonably cold tonight. Back in the low to mid 20s, cloudy skies initially, and then some gradual clearing taking place overnight, and that will continue into our Saturday, but we'll be well below average. Upper 30s, we should be near 50, but worry not, after one more cold night Saturday, spring-like temperatures return. We go 50s, 60s, even 70s ahead of more rain chances next Thursday. That is a check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with Health Watch.
Research into long COVID is getting a substantial funding boost. The National Institutes of Health announced it will add more than $500 million to the budget of a nationwide long COVID initiative. The program already had a budget of more than $1 billion. More than 90,000 adults and children are participating in studies that could help understand and treat the disease. A new study of telehealth abortion finds that it is safe and effective for patients. The research, published in the journal Nature Medicine, followed more than 6,000 patients who received abortion pills via telehealth. Researchers say 99.8% of abortions were not followed by serious adverse events. Telehealth abortions are becoming more widely used since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And researchers in Denmark say skipping a Danish and opting for a protein-rich breakfast can improve concentration throughout the day. Their study tracked 2 breakfasts with similar caloric values, one high in carbohydrates and the other in protein. They found the protein-rich breakfast can also increase a sense of fullness, which could help prevent weight gain. And you go to the doctor when you don't feel well, right? But are you going when you feel fine? Health experts say routinely seeing a physician is a critical part of staying healthy. Mandy Gaither explains why doctor visits aren't just for when you're sick.
A persistent cough, a stabbing sore throat, a high fever, all reasons you may see the doctor. But even when you're healthy, you should go for a visit too.
Regular doctor visits are a cornerstone for preventative health care.
Dr. Matthew Goldman with Cleveland Clinic says seeing a doctor when you're healthy can help you stay that way. He says your doctor can help maintain wellness, manage chronic conditions, and foster a holistic approach to caring for both physical and mental health in the long term.
They can help create personalized care on your preferences and your health history.
A routine exam is recommended each year. The provider will check overall well-being, including mental health, skin, eyes and ears, nose and mouth, heart, lungs, and abdomen. They'll run tests to make sure you're healthy.
Routine screenings and immunizations help in early detection and prevention of disease. We identify risk factors that are common for chronic diseases, allowing for early intervention.
You can prepare for a routine exam by bringing things like results from prior tests or lab work, knowing measurements like blood pressure or blood sugar readings that you've been asked to track, symptoms that have come up since the last visit, and a list of medications or supplements you currently take.
Make sure that your provider has as much information as possible to help you make informed decisions.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Routine doctor visits can also help you stay on top of routine cancer screenings, including screenings for breast, cervical, colorectal, and lung cancer. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Attention for Sonic Pulled Pork Barbecue Cheeseburger.
Right now at 6:30, an animal testing laboratory becomes a new humane home for nearly 200 dogs and cats.
And we've got ourselves a cold day out there, some rain, some snow, and perhaps that wintry mix. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, Jasper County, Missouri officials announced the results of a broadband study in the area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:31 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, so it is Friday.
Woohoo!
Boy, just a kind of a wild week. You know, we were all prepping for the celebration of the Chiefs parade.
It was a lot.
And then there was the shooting that took place. We had, of course, Valentine's Day. We had the Super Bowl win on Sunday.
A lot going on. We felt the whole spectrum of feelings this week, I'd say.
Absolutely. So I know many of you probably looking forward to the weekend. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a bit of a chilly weekend, but at least we'll have a moment to kind of refresh and get ready for next week, when it's going to be a lot nicer. As for today, though, it's not going to be so nice. In fact, it's going to be our first real taste of winter in quite some time across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good so far out there, but we are starting to see a few more rain showers. Take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, earlier, we just had a few showers up by Stockton, Osceola, and Nevada. Now we're seeing even more of them spreading back into southeastern Kansas from Parsons, Pittsburgh, Girard, Columbus, just outside of Galena, and starting to roll into Joplin now as well. And you can see where that cold front is as it stretches across the area, and that's where we're getting those showers. And then back behind it, much colder air, so dealing with some snow out there. In fact, some winter weather advisories right along and to the north of the I-35 corridor, the I-70 corridor, heading toward Kansas City and back towards St. Louis. Now, where you don't have any kind of alerts here, which is good news, but we still could see some wintry weather. There's another look at where that boundary is. Still warm off in our southern counties, upper 40s and even low 50s, but the rest of us upper 30s, low 40s. Many of us have already hit our daytime highs in the upper 40s. as the temperatures fall. 41, some rain when the kids get on the bus. East breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy, breezy, north winds gusting to 30 and only 33. So we're talking wind chills in the teens and 20s by this afternoon when that bus brings them home. That wintry mix and rain showers will continue through about noon, 1 o'clock, and then the bulk of it is out of here. The temperatures will still gradually fall, but thankfully they're not plummeting as we go through the day. And with that breeze, it's going to feel like they're plummeting because it's going to feel a lot colder out there. But as I mentioned, warm weather will return. We'll take a look at all that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A rescue organization says about 200 dogs and cats in Nowata County, Oklahoma have been purchased from an animal testing facility. Reporter Jaden Brennan talks to the founder of the Beagle Freedom Project to learn more.
Across 30 acres in Nowata County, there are dozens of dogs and cats who used to be used for research.
So the testing that has been done at this facility is toxicity testing for flea and tick medications for dogs and cats.
But now, Shannon Keith hopes to give the animals a second chance by turning the facility into a sanctuary.
They've never known a toy, they've never known a treat, they really don't know anything, and so it's a matter of teaching them the comforts and the love that we're used to giving to our dogs at home. Same thing with our cats. So it's so exciting that finally today we're able to give them all the love in the world.
Keith is the president and founder of the Beagle Freedom Project, a national organization which has rescued animals from testing facilities for 14 years. She says the organization worked with the lab's owner to buy the property and take custody of the animals.
So we've built up a relationship with him for many years now, and we had a discussion, and I talked about how, testing wasn't necessary anymore.
The research facility was all perfectly legal. Reiner and Associates was licensed and inspected by the United States Department of Agriculture from 2014 until September of last year. A report in 2017 found a systemic failure to document medical treatment, and more recent reports say there were injured dogs and cats that weren't receiving medical care and excessive accumulation of feces. But now, the owners have a new focus.
We want to see beautiful living enclosures, and the animals aren't going to live here forever. This will be a safe, soft landing spot where they can take their first steps of freedom.
Reiner and Associates said it's worked with the organization for several years, and it said it donated the animals to Beagle Freedom Project when the organization bought the property. The president of the research company said both organizations were interested in the welfare of the animals, just in different ways. The Lowell Minkin Center for Unsung Heroes in Fort Scott held a presentation about jazz musician James Reese Europe, the latest figure recognized by the nonprofit. Lem Shepard, renowned musician and historian, played jazz, ragtime, and the blues and discussed some American music history.
Thinking I was going to find maybe 10 or 15 things to say, but I found a way to search the newspapers, and because quite a bit of it was written in newspapers. I was surprised to see how much was written in newspapers and then how many newspapers there were.
The presentation was funded by a Humanities Kansas grant. Jasper County officials yesterday announced the completion of a broadband feasibility study. The study found 5,700 homes and businesses in the county have slow broadband speeds. It also showed many residents are unhappy with the speeds, reliability, and cost of their internet connectivity. Officials say fixing this problem is a top priority.
Certainly the next step is the county is going to be reaching out to all the ISPs, all the internet service providers that are within the county, and have discussions with them to see about their willingness and their ability to be able to try to expand their services into these more rural areas that don't have broadband right now.
County officials are also looking into grants to help speed up connectivity. Crowder College celebrated the end of its Love of Literacy book drive. From the middle of January until last Wednesday, the college's Adult Education and Literacy Center collected books designed for kids ages 7 and under. Yesterday, they distributed those books to area families. They also had crafts, snacks, and prizes at the distribution event.
We just want them to be engaged with looking at all of the book selections and just choosing some books that they're drawn to and that they would want to experience. And also with the celebrity readers, to be able to just listen to the books and how dynamic the stories are, and then just enjoy books from a very young age.
Head Start and Early Head Start, Crowder College, Lee Library, and Newton County Libraries all helped with the event. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. If it's Friday, you know what that means. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio to help us close out the week with his big 3 news stories. Plus, we have chances of a wintry mix today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Groupinc.com.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello, ma'am.
All right, a lot happened this week.
Yeah, you guys are talking about a big, huge array of emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 this week, KOAM News Now, and our big 3 stories. This was last weekend. A young woman from Oklahoma died in an I-44 crash near exit 4. She's from near the Oklahoma City area, 24-year-old female. Late at night, and somehow as this tractor trailer was slowing to exit on exit 4 in the deceleration lane, she struck the back of that tractor trailer and then went into the ditch. She was sadly pronounced on scene. We released more information after family was notified on Monday. Our number 2 story. Well, them Chiefs. Here was a big celebration. This was a lot of fun. A lot of people had asked what was going on. Well, right after the game, Academy had official wear on sale, which is something they kind of do all the time. So it was kind of fun seeing friends and everybody's all excited. It was a real big upthing. Would you wear those overalls there?
I'd rock those. Absolutely.
You probably could, you know. Get a heel in there, kind of roll them up a little bit, and look at all that bling. Everybody's totally jazzed.
Line.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, And that was the night that they won. Then, of course, you know, the parade on Wednesday, and then what happened after that. Our number 1 story, KOAM News Now, a shooting. It was right after the show this last week. On 7th Street, West 7th Street in Joplin, an officer had an interaction with a person that was called in as a suspicious person. He suffered a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to his hand in the wrist area and was taken to an area hospital. No word on charges, if any, in that situation. And then our bonus story of the week, a little more lighthearted also, the Big Biscuit. Some people love the Big Biscuit. I'd never heard of the Big Biscuit.
Me neither.
This is the 27th location. They're based in Kansas City. They've got them in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. We talked to the president of the company yesterday who was here as they opened. It's the former Panera location. They were pretty busy. So Big Biscuit, they got a reputation, and they're going to be here. Look at that. It was all neat.
It's adorable.
Yeah, they've redone everything in there. It's totally nothing like the previous tenant that was there. They do catering. They have a meeting room. Yesterday, the Joplin Fire Department had their all their department heads had their meeting there. You can just reserve it, no charge. Seats 36. They also have a patio with built-in warmers. You know, really cool, like Nashville. You know, we're getting all cool there. And then, of course, a huge dining area. They got neat pictures on the wall of Joplin. And
I am going to have to check that out. Oh, cool, and outdoors.
Yeah,
so fun.
You'll love it.
I love that. Very cool.
It's on East 32nd Street.
Perfect. All right, Shannon. Well, we did it. I mean, you know, nail-biting win for the Super Bowl. And then we had, Mardi Gras. We had Valentine's Day, Ash Wednesday. We had the parade.
And
we then had the tragedy. Everything was so happy and exciting.
Still disappointing.
And still, you know, new details are constantly coming out about that. So people want answers. So we're going to give it to them as soon as we get that.
Exactly.
All right. Well, stick around because we got more news coming up right after this.
All right, time for some birthdays on this finally Friday in the 4 states. We're going to begin with Nicholas Rives up in Jasper celebrating birthday number 4. Happy birthday.
And happy 5th birthday to Grant Gordon over in Lamar. Mother and son, they share the same birthday.
And we've got Kinnear and Khalil Powell celebrating birthday number 6. Says happy birthday, love, from mom, dad, and the siblings.
And happy 30th birthday to Cyresha Gordon over in Lamar, Missouri. Forever loved from Papa, Nana, and Gammy.
And of course, she's Grant's mother, sharing the same birthday with her son. And we also have Sadie Meadows celebrating birthday number 15 in Liberal. Says, we love you, Sadie, from Mima, Papa, Gary, and Grandma Leanne.
Taking over to Galena, Kansas. Happy 36th birthday to Mandy Meg.
And we've got Amy Wilkinson over in Chetopa celebrating birthday number 41. Happy birthday, Amy.
Also celebrating 41, Kimberly Kraft of Chanute, Kansas.
And in Carthage, Linda Irwin celebrating birthday number 67 with happy birthday love coming from her family.
Happy birthday to Norm Crabtree, who is 96 over in Chanute, Kansas. She's the woman in the middle, and the other ladies are her sisters.
I'm sure they're having a big celebration today. We've also got Chelsea Casey celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Chelsea.
And happy birthday, Carrie Stark of Nevada, Missouri.
And in Columbus, Linda Garrison celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Linda.
Continuing our list, happy birthday to Lucas Bramblett.
And we've got Mike Reibel in Iola celebrating a birthday. Says, have a great day today from the entire family and all your friends.
And last but not least, over in Columbus, Kansas, happy 81st birthday to Leah Brassard.
That was a pretty good birthday and anniversary list. And of course, we want to keep these going strong. Caitlin, what do they need to do?
All you have to do is submit your birthdays and anniversaries with pictures and any comments to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, don't forget about the deadline that you see there on the bottom of your screen. You want to make sure your birthday or anniversary airs at the appropriate time on the appropriate day. And in order to do so, you've got to make that deadline that you see on the bottom of your screen. All right, let's get started. The rain now into Joplin, which it's very obvious here on our camera at the Cornell Complex in downtown. Raindrops on the lenses, rain on the roadways, so some wet spots out there. The wind from the north continuing to increase as we go through the morning. MoDOT camera 28th and range line, wet roadways out there. You can see the camera swaying a little bit in the wind as it continues to pick up and will be quite gusty today. Skywatch Storm Tracker, look at this batch of rain that has just developed right on top of the Pittsburgh-Joplin metro area here. So we've got this zoomed out, which now tells me this is in the wrong place. I apologize. We're going to move on and get zoomed in. Now we're going to track this back down. So we've got some scattered showers, Osceola, Stockton, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Monette. And we've got heavier batches of rain, Carthage, Pittsburgh, Girard, Columbus, Galena, Neosho, and Joplin. And you can see the red colors here. We actually could see a stray thunderstorm or two with some of this activity. No severe weather, but if you hear some thunder, do not worry. We've just got that possibility for some thunderstorms. But take a look. Here's that frontal boundary and watch these showers just really get going. They start as not much over in southeast Kansas, and all of a sudden they just blossom up out there. And then back behind this front, that much colder air out there with some snow and even winter weather advisories to our north. So as we go through the morning, winds out of the north, look at those wind arrows racing. They really increase out there, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour as that cold front pushes on through. Now, some of us, especially south of I-44, may remain warm enough that you may primarily see rain. You could get a brief mix of rain and snow, but some of this may just stay rain because this precipitation is out of here by about 1 o'clock. And so some of you may only see the rain. Others may see a full transition to some light snow, like Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Nevada, maybe Lamar and Stockton as well. And then others right along I-44 could get that wintry mix. You may see some rain mixed in with snow as temperatures fall. But again, once we get through the afternoon, the bulk of it is gone. Just a few stray showers, Cassville, Bentonville, and that's going to be about it. And then it's going to be cloudy, cold, and windy. So snow tracker, I know a lot of people are wanting to know, based on what you see on the future track, most of that isn't really going to do much for us. We're looking at Stockton, the only community within the snow zone that's actually picking up detectable precipitation of about 1/10 of an inch. Outside of that, maybe a light dusting here and there, but slick spots between the rain, the cold temperatures, and that potential snowfall. You got to slow down out there and watch out for those slick spots. As mentioned, the winds are going to be the other factor, gusting out of the north upwards of 30 to 35 miles an hour through the day, and that's going to kick our wind chills back into the 20s and into the teens out there. So if you have any Friday night plans, make sure you bundle up. It may be dry, but it is going to be cold. Gusty winds will continue overnight and into the first half of our Saturday as well before they eventually lighten up a bit for us by the afternoon. In Joplin right now, it is obviously raining. Some of that has stopped, but there's more rain showers around the area. 44 feels like 38 with that north-northeast breeze at about 12 miles an hour. Another view of that cold front and where that boundary is. across most of the area now. Upper 30s, low 40s, but some of us still upper 40s. Many of us reached the upper 40s early this morning, and those were our highs for today. And that's as warm as it gets. We head into the afternoon, it's going to be in the mid-30s. We got the rain, the rain-snow mix. That continues. Temperatures also begin to fall through the morning, down to 38 by 11. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we make the switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to learn about a museum in London where broken relationships are the main exhibit.
From the moment you...
Four-State Hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Ascension plans to transfer ownership of Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh to Mercy. The statement released by Mercy says Ascension and Mercy have entered into an ownership agreement. It's not yet clear how this transition will affect employment within the facility or when this transition will be completed in full. Jasper County officials yesterday announced the completion of a broadband feasibility study. The study found 5,700 homes and businesses in the county have slow broadband speeds. It also showed how many residents are unhappy with the speeds, reliability, and cost of their internet connectivity. Officials say fixing this problem is a top priority. And Crowder College yesterday celebrated the end of the Love Literacy Book Drive. From the middle of January until last Wednesday, the college's Adult Education and Literacy Center collected books designed for kids ages 7 and under. Yesterday, they distributed those books to area families. They also had crafts, snacks, and prizes at the distribution event. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as we take a look at that forecast for today, we are going to have that rain, the rain-snow mix wrapping up by about 1, and then we'll be mostly cloudy, breezy, winds gusting upwards of 30, putting our wind chills in the teens and 20s. And these highs are technical highs. Well, we've already hit them in most locations early this morning. Some of us still in the upper 40s, but we'll all fall into the mid-30s by this afternoon. Cold, breezy, cloudy through the evening, so bundle up if you've got some Friday night plans. Cold tonight, but again, that's seasonable. It's just colder than what we've been used to here lately. So we fall back into the 20s. 20s again tomorrow night, well below average though for the high tomorrow, into the upper 30s. And then the spring-like weather will return next week back to the 50s, 60s, and even 70s. More showers on Thursday.
And coming up today at noon, we're making steamin' mocha lattes in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll see why students in Virginia packed 10,000 meals for their community.
Plus, we've got Shannon Becker back in the studio to share his big 3 stories of the week. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. Hope you had a great time with us. We will be back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
Have a great weekend, Four States.